What's going on, everybody? This is Black Men Sundays. I'm your host, Corie Murray. We're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about finance. And of course, we're talking about business.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate.
And before we introduce today's guest, my man Eric from Huntsville, Alabama, who do you have for our Black Men Sunday Spotlight?
Today's spotlight is going to be focused on this guy named Daryl Davis. You may not have heard of him, but I'm going to give you a little tidbits of him. Daryl Davis was once an aspiring, successful musician. He played with Chuck Berry, B.B. King, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Muddy Waters, old school cat. However, his true claim to fame, the legacy he forged, came in a very different way. You see, Daryl Davis went out of his way to befriend a KKK Grand Wizard by the name of Roger Kelly. He spent years building trust between them and laying down a foundation of what to become a friendship. Now, they broke bread together at each other's house. They welcomed each other in their homes. Davis even went so far as attending a Klan meeting and Klan rallies as a guest of Mr. Kelly. Most importantly, Davis cultivated an atmosphere of listening. See, he didn't hate Kelly because Kelly hated him. Instead, he listened to Roger. And eventually, Kelly started listening to him. So what happened? This led to the two realizing that they had far more in common than not. So in the end, Kelly, which was the Grand Wizard, denounced his ties with the KKK. And so much, he handed his hood and robe over to Daryl Davis. Now, in total, Davis has seen over 200 Klan members walk away from the KKK in hand and hand over their robes to the hoods to Daryl. Daryl Davis is a world changer. What he did, he replaced hate with love because love conquers hate every time. That's my spotlight today, Mr. Daryl Davis, showing that, hey, it only takes one to change a nation. Back to you, Corie.
My man Eric from Hunts Vegas, Alabama. I appreciate that Black Men Sunday Spotlight, man. But we have to go on to introduce today's guest. We have Jacoby Waters on the show. This brother's the founder and CEO of Young Men of Distinction. That's for brothers 7 to 18 years of age. We're going to get into all that. This brother's an entrepreneur. This brother has a Bachelor of Science in Music from FAMU. You know, I went to FAMU, so we had to have his brother on the show. And this brother was raised in Riviera Beach, Florida. That's the Raw for the folks down south. You know, we just had Councilman Lawson on here a few weeks ago, so we're going to have a good time and have a great show. First off, Jacoby Waters, brother, how you doing? Welcome to Black Men Sundays, brother.
Hey, man, how you doing, man? Thank you for having me on this beautiful Sunday.
Definitely. So let's go on and get started, man. You know, how do we change the narrative of minority young men today?
We have to, as the men, we need to change the narrative with ourselves. I would definitely say right now the media, how I told somebody I'm literally watching the estate of the black man, and we got to really reclaim our throne and reclaim our title, so our young men can be able to follow suit.
Okay, got you, man. And you're the founder and CEO of Young Men of Distinction. So tell us about that. What is that?
So Young Man Distinction, it is an organization I started back in 2019. And I was just the person that I don't believe in being just a nagger, a complainer. I'm all about being part of the solution. And wherever I can do my part in this world to help change the narrative, instead of especially our young Black men, I am 1000% going to do my best. I'm also a father of 4 Black men of my own. So I'm trying to carve out a legacy, not only for future generations to come, but my own sons and my own household to see what trail their father has laid while he was on this earth.
So, I mean, you said you started it back in 2019. When I was looking it up, it said you have Black men ages 7 to ages 18. So, you know, what are you doing? How are you enhancing the Black men experience for our young brothers?
So first off, I allow them to be who they are. I let them know off the rip, I'm transparent as the adult, and I'm vulnerable with our young men to show them that it's okay as an adult, I can admit when I'm wrong. I know growing up, my father and my grandfathers were very headstrong young men, so I had a strong foundation of men growing up in Riviera Beach, and especially having neighbors. So I grew up with a sense of strong black men, and then to realize that as I've transitioned and gotten older, and realized I was one of the few in my neighborhood that lived in a two-parent household. So I realized that how blessed I was to be in that type of environment, fostered in that type of environment. So that's why I do it our young men. I try to foster a healthy relationship, let them know that it's okay to be you. And I accept you for who you are. You don't have to change. You don't have to be this water bead in front of me. That's because that doesn't impress me. Being you, that's what impressed me more. And I get them equipped to where once they graduate high school, they go out into the world, they feel like they already can compete and they understand their value. That's another thing I try to teach them is understanding your worth. I teach them entrepreneurship. Try to be the owner of the team, not just be an NBA player or a football player. What about being an owner? And I do tell them like try it first. If it don't work, okay, your role might be an employee. Don't feel bad because not everybody can be chiefs. We sometimes need great Indians to be able to support a great chief.
And you said entrepreneurship. Let's talk about that because, as I said in the intro, you're an entrepreneur. I feel like all brothers we naturally are entrepreneurs. We just don't really. Sometimes we'll have these great ideas, but we don't really know how to execute them. So, let's talk about yourself being an entrepreneur and things of that sort.
First off, I've always had the mentality of wanting to be an entrepreneur. Starting Young Men Station was actually not my first dream. My first dream was inspired by Master P. I wanted to start a record label, but I wanted to expound upon his vision when he started No Limit. I wanted my record label to be where distribution, everything happened at the label. So where big labels had to come to me and I cut out the middleman to where we're distributing the labels at the time, CDs. If I know what I know now that it was going to evolve to streaming, yeah, my mindset would have been a little bit different. But so that's why I said I looked up to a person like Master P, where I got into the whole mindset of being an entrepreneur. And then when I started Young Men of the Station, I like I said, just seeing a lot what was going on in the media, especially with our young black men, and me being a black man myself, I'm like, I know there's a tons of positive young black men. I can't let the media go ahead and spread all these false narratives about us as black men. So I was like, what can I do to do my part? And that's where Young Men Station was birthed. And like I said, my style of entrepreneurship is I make sure everybody plays a part, even the boys. I let them know that they have a stake in the organization just as more as I do. I said, because without them, there is no group. So I give them that sense of they already have that entitlement of I own Young Men of the Station. I work for y'all. Y'all are in sense my bosses. So that's like I said, that's what led me into the world of entrepreneurship. Like I said, I had that mind frame, I want to say around 6 years old, and just continue to foster it until I birthed Young Men of Distinction.
Let's stay on the entrepreneurial side of things. So we know we have young men of distinction. You have any other business ventures? Because we talk about generational wealth as well. Do you have any business ventures you have going on that you could share with us?
Sure. I'm actually working on an initiative, another business venture, partnering with Youth One Studios, where we are working on. It's called Youth Broadcasting Sports Academy. What that encompasses is we get our young men, our young ladies, our youth into the world of broadcasting. So they go interview like the little league athletes. Like if you're let's say somebody at rec and football, we go and interview. So we get our kids ready for the world of, I told somebody that eventually with this practice, like we practice with our youth, knowing how to be able to conduct the interview, knowing how to speak, articulate themselves while giving an interview, and be able to translate that to when they eventually go off to college. They wouldn't necessarily need a publicist on how to speak when they're being interviewed. They were already been trained since the age of 6, 7, being constantly interviewed, going through that process to where they can know how to be able to micromanage themselves while conducting the interview, like knowing they can still be themselves, but also knowing what I can and cannot say. So that's a business adventure that currently working on in the final stages to get ready to launch that towards the end of this year.
Got you. And is Young Men of Distinction, is that a 501c nonprofit or?
Yes, it's a 501c3.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get that in there. Okay, cool. Well, stage is open, fellas. Y'all have any questions? I got a couple more for them.
So yeah, this is Kalali out of Maryland. I got a question for you. So you were speaking about, how you working with the young men and things like that, and that was spawned out of your desire to do something, to kind of combat some of the negative narratives out there about young Black men. And we know as Black men coming up that, especially when you're young as a Black man, you could get labeled with different kind of, you can get different kind of negative labels put on you. Have you spoken to any of the young men in your organization or all the young men in your organization about what to do when people try to put those negative labels on you, or how to navigate that in society and how to deal with that?
Yes, yes, I have. For instance, I run down. I like I tell them I use myself. I say I have dreads, I have a beard, my ears are pierced, I have tattoos. But when I go into these corporate arenas, I know how to articulate myself. So that already I debunk a lot of stereotypes when I first walked through the door. And like I just told them, just be yourself and know how to be confident within you. So that's why I try to train them first to start with them. Because without them loving themselves and really having that sense of confidence within themselves, anybody can easily tear you down with one simple comment, one simple word, or phrase. So, like I said, I really focus on building that inner confidence within themselves.
No, that's awesome. I do got a follow-up question too. You were talking about some of the business ventures that you're doing, a couple of different business ventures that you're doing. Have you thought about or gotten a chance to, or have any of the young men in your organization actually expressed their interest in being, and learning about these different different business ventures and taking a part in that, and perhaps learning, how, even if it's a 501c3 or a different organization, how that organization grows?
Yes, I have. My recent graduate he's actually on my staff now. He just came out the gate, guns blazing. He's been with me, I think this year is 3 years now. And he's just a bright young man. He already broke a lot of the stereotypes because he's a teenage father. So, but I always keep him encouraged. I'm one of his biggest supporters, and he really he hangs on my every word. I joke with him and say, "You would be in a group if you wasn't if you was a deadbeat father." So I joke with him about that. He laughs. He said, "Yeah, I know," but I tell him all the time how proud I am because I see him with his daughter. Like I said, I just give him words of encouragement, affirmation, and he wants to really get into electrician. So I really help these young men, wherever aspirations they want to do, I give them the tools and the resources, people I may know, to point them in that right direction to be able to help grow their own business themselves.
No, that's definitely awesome. Definitely applaud you for the work you're doing in the community. Just want to encourage you to keep it up. How important do you think it is? I mean, we know that it's important, but I guess I just want to expand. I want you to expound a little bit. How important do you think it is that young men have other male role models that they could kind of, either walk in the footsteps of, or gain some mentoring from, or gain advice from? How important and how much of a transformation have you seen kind of being able to provide an organization that does that?
I say for me, it's very important first off for other men to encourage our young future kings in this world, especially like I said, with all the adversity that's going on. Like I said, compared to how I grew up to how these kids are growing up now, I say it's like night and day. So really being that support system to them instead of being that I'm that person, I'm not a dream killer. I've had one of the guys, I think my very first year, he said he wanted to start a cannabis ice cream business. It came out of left field when he said it because it was very foreign to me, but I didn't destroy that dream. I just, asked some questions. Like I'm the type of person that I let the kids educate me on different aspirations they have. I have a young man that's interested in robotics. I literally will sit there and like, okay, I'm curious. Like, tell me more about the robotics. I really don't know. So, like, to hear from the kids, their knowledge on certain things, it's amazing. Us as black men, we just need to really take the time with our young men just to listen. That's what they value more is the time. Yeah, they can get the money. Yeah, you can do all this and that. That's great. But spending time with them really pouring into them, nourishing them to be that, because like I said, I look at them as they the ones I gotta lean on, when I get in my 60s and 70s for Social Security. I gotta lean on them. So I need them. So I need to be really making sure I'm pouring into them and making sure that they grow up to be outstanding young men and success in their own right, not just with material, but overall success.
I definitely thank you for that. Yeah, like I said, definitely want to keep you encouraged. Appreciate everything you're doing. As we know, a lot of this stuff has to start right locally in the community, and then we could grow out, hopefully to make bigger movements. But it definitely is most important right there in the community, and that's where you are. So definitely appreciate everything you're doing. Definitely appreciate you coming on and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely great stuff. And do you have any partnerships, any companies that you partner with that if a child says, "Hey, I want to be a dentist," you have a dentist that you can call that's aligned with young men of distinction?
Yeah, if I don't have a direct partnership, I may know somebody that could definitely point them in the right direction. We've worked very well with other community organizations like United Way of Palm Beach County. We work with AVDA, which is an organization against domestic violence, which we're a part of their grant, which I just came back not too long ago from Washington, D.C. As part of their grant, them being a grantee, and we're a project partner because theirs is focusing on engaging men. So those are just a few of the partners. Like I said, I have other organizations or people I may know come and do a presentation for our guys, and like I said, definitely give them the information so that they can create that avenue for themselves.
You guys spoke a little bit about mentoring. I'm a mentor, and a lot of times when I go to schools, when I go to community centers, a lot of times outside of the mentors that are the owners that they may have their son there, their father as mentors, but outside of them, a lot of times I'm the only black man there, period. You see a lot of women, but I'm like, why am I the only black man here? So what can we do to convince brothers to be mentors?
I've struggled with that with the group. Thank goodness I do. I recently was able to add a guy because at one point I was the only guy on my staff, and it was a staff of women. Until recently, where I was able to get a young man that was believed in my vision to be able to come on my staff and really be that other guy that they get to see, get to hear. And he's a little bit older than me. So he gets that, they get two different perspectives from me and him. Because I'm about to say my age. I'm 34. So I'm not that close to that age, but I'm not that old. So it's like I'm like right in the middle. So that was another reason why I added the young man that just graduated recently on my staff to give that sense of balance. So they have that almost like they have three generations right there at their fingertips. But to encourage men, some men may not know how to be a mentor. Some men may feel with if they had a checkered past, they're not a good fit to be a mentor. That's not true because your story may inspire our young men to not go. You can inspire them not to go down that path you went. You could be the one to say, "This is what happened when you go the opposite way." You can still be a mentor and really pour into our youth. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just it's all about putting that effort out there to really make a difference.
Okay, because a lot of times I'll talk to brothers and I'm like, why aren't you being a mentor? You drop your kids off to the community center. Why don't you hang out, be a mentor there as well? Oh man, I don't have time for that. These bad kids, they talking back, and I'm trying to school them, and they trying to tell me they know everything. So I don't want to waste my time doing that. I hear a lot of brothers saying that. Do you have a comment on that?
I hear people say that. I had some of my staff that would say that, but I tell them that I literally sit there and I listen to them. I really try to tap into their world. If you really understand them, then you get a better sense of the picture. And I'll tell that to any man. Really just sit down with a young man, take that statement that they feel like they know everything, and really sit down and have them tell you about their life story. Tell them ask them what do they see? I recently did a workshop with my guys. I had a mirror. I had all of them look in the mirror and tell me what they see within themselves. Some stuff was dark, some was light. Like I said, I ended up leaving it and I was like, wow, I left profound. And I said, really hearing from them what they feel about themselves, it helped me to be like, all right, what can I do as a mentor to help them see the value I see in them? How can I help change the narrative in their thought process if it was bad? How I get them to change it? So it just because I'm competitive, it just fired up the juices in me to want to make sure I am that role model that's continuing myself to better myself, to be a great mentor to my guys in the group.
Okay, y'all good. Well, before I let you go, man, the last two are gonna be the easy questions. Like I said, you have a Bachelor of Science in Music from FAMU. Were you in the band?
I was in concert choir.
Okay, okay. Well, hey, listen, FAMU music, because a lot of brothers I know that have that Bachelor of Science in Music, they said it wasn't as easy as you think. That there was some
No,
work, man. So the
no,
fact that you were able, yeah, so the fact that you did that and you have the young men of distinction, man, I definitely salute you. You definitely make us FAMU brothers look good out here, man. How important is exposing our black men and black women at a young age? How vital is that? Because I feel like when brothers and sisters get in the high schools and colleges, I feel like we fall behind because of the lack of exposure.
I feel like it's very important. That's why I make a conscious effort in my group to expose them to all the different options that's on the table. I know it was taboo at the time when I did it, but I'm so happy I did. I did workshop focusing on the armed forces. And I know in the Black community, that's something we kind of steer away our kids from going. But I wanted them to hear the different branches of the armed forces, understanding the benefits to being in the armed forces. My father was a Marine, so yes, I didn't choose that route because that wasn't for me. But for him, he ended up becoming a Morehouse man. He got his degree in accounting, and he's now, he's making six figures in corporate America. So, like I said, my father is a product of being in the armed forces. They also teach them about trade schools. Trades are important. Not everybody is meant to go to college. Like I said, by laying that out on the table, the college option, workforce, trade school, armed forces. So when they make that sound decision, it's more of they understand what's in front of them than what is taught in the schools. which in the schools, honestly, the say is only talking about going to college or going to work. It's slowly trade schools are starting to be talked about, but that is not being pushed as strong as it should be. So I try to make sure when it comes to our youth, it's very important to expose them to all the options that's in front of them because they can make better sound decisions instead of going to college, they regret it, and now they got student loan debt. So you already start way behind the eight ball versus they may go to a trade school and do something that they love and they're passionate, and they eventually own their own HVAC company. That's always you're gonna need somebody to fix your AC. You always gonna need somebody to do some plumbing. You create that business, that's something that's obtainable. That's attainable generational wealth that you continue to pass on to generation.
I appreciate you for coming on Black Men Sundays. Last question, man. Did you enjoy yourself coming on the show, brother?
Absolutely. It's always good to be around Black men that's positive, doing the right things. And like I said, I'm always, want to encourage my brothers to continue to support each other. So I'm very happy and appreciative to be on today.
Definitely. And you have a website. How can brothers contact you?
So you can I run the website for youngmandistinction.org. You can find me on Facebook at Jacoby Waters. On LinkedIn is Jacoby Waters as well. But you can follow the group. The group has we're on all social media. Young Man Distinction is the group.
All right, brother. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending, taking some time out of your day to spend some time with us on Black Men Sundays. And with that said, brother, we out of here and enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. Thank you guys. You have a blessed Sunday.
Yes, sir. Peace.
It's a Black Man Sunday.